So holy shit. Man, this has got to be one of the worst cases I've ever heard in my entire life. So this comes out of Missouri, a place called Independence, which is close to Kansas City, Missouri. Just a real quick overall perspective of what had happened. You have some sort of disturbance. You have the mother-in-law, and the mother have an argument, and the mother-in-law claims that she was assaulted. But the mother-in-law is in the apartment of the mother, and the father is there too. So you got mother, father, and baby. Mother, father, and baby are in the apartment. Mother-in-law comes down, gets assaulted, goes back to wherever she came from, calls the police, says that she wants to press charges. Well, the police come basically with guns already out, guns like they were trigger-happy, sadistic, psychopathic cops. The cops run up into the apartment complex, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they shoot the baby, and then they shoot the mother, and then, hey, that's our heroes. Our heroes showed up and saved the day. So you have the Zionist, right, who's sitting there surrounding himself with the Zionists. We're going to do the America Last Plan. And if you can excuse genocide, well, Jesus Christ. So, Kansas City, Missouri, Independence. Independence is a suburb right next to Kansas City. Apparently, it's the largest suburb on the Missouri side of Kansas City. In 2020, it had a population of 123,000. The Blue Springs police captain heading the PIIT invested the Jackson County prosecutor. A lot of overlapping jurisdictions here. Missouri is the same state that killed Marcellus Williams. D.C. cops killed Justin Robinson when he was sleeping. So you have Destinii Hope. Destinii Hope was born. Mitchell's mother and Destini's grandmother, Talisa Coombs, C-O-O-M-B-S, Coombs, who lived in the same apartment complex, would frequently visit to assist with childcare and to check in on Maria and Mitchell. So Maria is the mother, Mitchell is the father, and Destinii Hope, they killed a baby who was less than 3 months old. So a 2-month-old baby named Destinii Hope. Shot her in the head, according to Mitchell. I also heard somebody say she was shot in the chest. But according to Mitchell, she gets shot in the head, and her head explodes. And he gets blood all over himself and all over his glasses. And he just keeps on saying, you shot her, you shot her, you shot her. So this happens November 7th, 2024. So this is just 2 days after the election. So you have Talisa Coombs. Talisa alleges that Maria had assaulted her, Maria Pike, while she was in the apartment with the couple and the baby. After the incident, Talisa leaves the apartment, calls the police to report the alleged assault. In multiple interviews, Talisa has claimed that she repeatedly told police that she was concerned about the baby and that there was a baby in the apartment. So they come in with guns blazing. There's at least 3 officers that have been put on leave, and at least 1 officer had fired his weapon. They have not released the body cam or the dash cam videotape at all. So I'm already asking questions here. Talisa Coombs, she wants to press charges against Maria Pike, right? Hey, 911, I want to press charges. You need to come quick. So I'm kind of wondering how big this assault was. Talisa Coombs was in Maria Pike's apartment. So she was in their domain. You know, she was, I don't want to say trespassing, because maybe she was there with permission. But I want to know how big this so-called assault was. Did Talisa have bruises or scratches? What were the immediate circumstances that had caused Talisa Coombs to assault Maria Pike? Did Maria Pike have justification? And when it comes to the police, you got good cops and you got bad cops. They're human. But to err is human. So give a person who is prone to error some power, well, that means the errors are only going to be multiplied. When it comes to the cops, maybe they'll show up to the scene, maybe they'll arrest the guilty person and protect the victim, or maybe they'll arrest the victim and protect the guilty person. Sometimes the guilty know how to act when the cops show up, and the victim is so distraught, they're, acting a fool because they just had a terrible fucking thing that just happened to them. But then sometimes the guilty is acting distraught because that's just who the fuck they are. They just go on and on and on. And there's something about the human condition that when somebody pisses you off, then you just go on and on and on. Whenever there was a fight, I heard a principal of a public school once said that both of them get punished because at least the other one was jawing. Both people are probably involved somehow. Somebody was talking shit, somebody said shit, somebody swung, somebody got into somebody else's space, somebody hit somebody, somebody pushed somebody. In order to get objective justice, you need objective truth. You need objective truth. There is a truth, and it's objective, and it's immutable, and it's eternal. The truth will always be the truth. JFK's head went back and to the left, so therefore the shot came from to the front and to the right. In November 8th, the press conference, you got this chief, right? This lying piece of shit, Dustman. A guy named Dustman admitted that a mental health responder was on site, but they didn't have an opportunity to de-escalate the situation. So they had a mental health person there. They had a mental health person there. And so you got the mother who's holding the baby and Mitchell, the father, who's in the same room. They open up the apartment door. 3 cops come in with guns. They shoot the baby first, shoot the mother after the mother gets up. So that makes it sound like she was sitting down. The mother is sitting down with baby. So the cops rush in, see a mother on a couch with the baby and the father, and they shoot the baby. Mother gets up, they shoot and kill the mother. Yeah, the mental health responder wasn't the first one on the scene. They didn't have an opportunity to de-escalate. The cops rushed right in. The cops actually went to the wrong apartment building. A guy named Bug. They go to this guy named Bug's apartment building, and they got guns pointed on him the whole time. And the officer says, "What did you do with my officer?" Which doesn't even make sense. You think I kidnapped your fucking police officer? I'm just one fucking man. If 3 cops are busting through your door, you think that one man is going... So they're sitting there confronting this guy until eventually he says, "You got the wrong apartment." Then they thought about it, and they're like, "Well, shit, yeah, we probably did get the wrong apartment." And then they just take the fuck off. So he was about ready to get killed. Bug was about to get killed until he said that they had the wrong apartment. And that has to be fascinating body camera video. How they treated this guy named Bug. There is video that has been released. I don't know if it's from the stairwell of the apartment complex. The Kansas City Defender. The video shows multiple police racing up the stairs of the apartment complex. And they already had their guns drawn before they even reached the door. This reminds me of the Tren de Aragua. The Tren de Aragua in Aurora, Colorado. You see the damn guys. You see them with guns. They go into the apartment complex. Unfortunately, in America, cops have a license to kill. They could use all the other methods at their disposal. If you have a license to kill, right, like James Bond, then that means they could use everything up until force, lethal force. And you don't use violence. That should be the last option. So that means the mental health person should have gone in. And why wouldn't the cops try to talk to anybody first? They go in, guns pointed at everybody, and then they shoot the baby, right? Just like in Palestine. You just got to kill the babies, and then everything will be fine. Everything will just be all hunky-dory after that, huh? So, it sounded like they went in with guns already out, ready to blaze away. These are trigger-happy, psychopathic cops who didn't give a shit about the sanctity of life. In a press conference following the shooting, Independence Police Chief Adam Dustman had claimed that the mother of the child, Maria Pike, 34, was armed, that the deceased included a child. So he's kind of telling some truth, but a lot of half-truths, if not outright lies. When confronted by a reporter that the child was actually a baby, you're saying it was a child, right? Is this a 17-year-old child? Is this a 10-year-old child? Oh, it's a 2-month-old baby. 2 months old. Eventually, Adam Dustman refused to comment on the alleged ages of either of the victims or even the cause of death. So he said he was a father himself. Yeah, so he could totally understand, right? Pressed on what Pike was allegedly armed with, right? So you got this Talisa Coombs, and then you got, what is it, Maria Pike. Maria Pike. So Maria Pike is the mother. The guy's first name is Mitchell. She was 34 years old. Maria Pike was 34 years old. They asked Adam Dustman, the police chief, well, what was she armed with? And then they said a knife. Oh, okay, so she had a knife. Well, then, shit, that's any old excuse will serve a tyrannical fascist. I mean, my God, Maria Pike had a knife. That's what they said. Why wouldn't you just believe their words? Case fucking closed. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So he's not telling any answers. He's not giving the names of the victims or the death or the cause of death. And then what was she armed with? He claims that she was armed with a knife. It sounds to me like some bullshit. Because Mitchell Holder, that's the father. So they got different last names, right? Maria Pike, Mitchell Holder, and I'd like to think that the baby's name is Destinii Hope Holder. I'd like to think that, or I presume that's the case. But it could have been Pike too, right? Destinii Hope. I wish I knew the last name of the baby. It looks like it says Destinii Pike. So it looks like she had named the baby after herself. So it's not that I like, whatever. This, however, is disputed by eyewitnesses. So Mitchell Holder was in the room. He was in the room. And to kill somebody named not only a 2-month-old baby, but Destinii Hope, she gives us hope. This is our destiny. Is this the destiny of America? Is this the destiny of our civilization, of our empire, of our society? Is there any hope left? You done killed hope. You killed destiny. You killed hope. Mitchell Holder said he was in the room and he didn't see a damn knife. He didn't see a damn knife. So is it possible she had a knife that he didn't see? He said, that's possible. But, when you're under the gun and being confronted with police violence is endemic to the capitalist system, imbued with the immense power to kill. Cops seem to exist to serve and protect the property and privileges of the ruling class. Now, if the cops go in and arrest the guilty, we're all happier for it and we're all better off. You got a gunman going around shooting people, right? They got administrative leave. Now, if a cop would have arrested those cops, then we would have been happy, right? They got a court system, right? All they got to do is just go through the court system. The court system figures out who the good people are and who the bad people are. It's not just a bureaucratic fucking mess. They don't just rubber stamp the initial allegation and turn it into a rocket docket slaughterhouse. It seems like cops exist to serve and protect the property and privileges of the ruling class. They're not neutral guardians, but the foot soldiers of the financial oligarchy. They'll protect the property. They'll protect the banks. They'll protect the wealthy who can afford lawyers. They'll protect each other. But the general public, who knows? Maybe they'll do some good for the general public. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll show up to a murder scene and then just blame the person who got killed. Well, we don't see the murder around here. Yeah, because they killed and fucking left the scene, And then if you're a smart criminal, you're never supposed to return to the scene of the crime. Or maybe they'll just arrest the person that called it in. Oh, you found the body, huh? How do we know you didn't do it? How do I know you didn't fucking do it? So Talisa Coombs said she did not instruct the cops to go up there and shoot them. You don't shoot anybody with a child in their arms. And she says that they could have done anything else. But they want to choose to kill my granddaughter and her mother. If I had known that baby was in danger with the police officers, then I would have never said anything. Which, yeah, Talisa Coombs, you didn't think that the cops would overreact and overescalate and just murder everybody in the fucking room? What country does she think that she lives in? Justin Robinson was shot and killed when he was sleeping. Marcellus Williams, there's DNA evidence that exonerates him. He got executed in Missouri. There is 100,000, 200,000 signatures on those petitions. There's supposed to be politicians who give a shit about what the people want. The difference between tyranny and democracy is when the government is afraid of the people, that's democracy. But when the people are afraid of the government, that's tyranny. That's totalitarian fascism. Mitchell Holder says this, so this is the father. And I quote, "Yes, I was in the room when it all happened," he began. "From what I could see, I never once saw Maria armed with anything." He was in the same room. She's sitting down. She gets up. I honestly don't even know where that came from. I don't even know. She had a knife? That's fucking news to me. I've heard crazy things like she was holding the baby hostage in a closet, that she had a knife. All this crazy stuff that's not true. I mean, all I can say is that it's possible she had a knife and somehow I didn't see it. But all I know is that I never saw her holding anything. I was right there in the room. He was in the room when the baby got shot and when Maria Pike got shot. Any excuse will serve a tyrannical fascist. What? She had a knife? What? She had a pin? She's got a pin. She's got a pin. You gotta, oh, she threw a pin at us. Oh shit, that's violence. Oh fucking shit. Maggots? You found a maggot on her. Police were apparently in such a rush to kill that they broke into the wrong apartment and they held Bug Arnold. So Bug Arnold is a resident of Oval Spring Apartments at gunpoint. All right, Bug Arnold, where's the baby? Where's the woman? What'd you do with our cops? Bug Arnold told the defender that he witnessed police from the moment they jumped out of their cars. It was as if they were ready to kill. Bug Arnold explained to the defender that after the police opened his door, that they had their guns trained on him the entire time. And he said he wasn't sure what to do. I was just frantically like waving my arms like, oh my God, no, you have the wrong house, he recalled. Bug Arnold said the police accused him of doing something to their officer like, where's my officer? What'd you do with my officer? I said, I don't know where your officer is, sir. I assume he's in the other apartment because you have the wrong apartment. They shot my baby. They shot my baby, Holder said, Mitchell Holder. His voice was shaken with grief and fury. It looked like her head exploded. So now we're quoting the father again. Her blood splattered across my glasses and all over me, and all I could do was scream. I just kept saying the same three words, over and over again. You killed her. You killed her. You killed her. I was screaming it over and over. I know that she died instantly. There was a huge hole in her head. There's a huge hole in her head. And the horror didn't stop there. I mean, if you kill the baby, well, why not just kill the mother and father while you're at it? You know, fuck it. You got no fucking conscience. You don't care about right or wrong. And I'm sure they'll all get away with it, get a paid vacation, probably get a promotion on top of it. We're going to make you corporal and we're going to make you captain. So Mitchell Holder, the father, describes how Maria Pike, Destini's mother, reacted in the moments after her baby was shot. So again, we're quoting Mitchell Holder. Immediately, Maria jumps up. And as soon as she did, I don't know if the cop got scared or something, but then he fired another shot that hit Maria. And I think it hit her in the hip. And the cop didn't stop her bleeding the right way. He didn't know what he was doing. I believe she choked on her own blood and bled out. That's my understanding of how she died. What? Got shot in the hip, drowned in your own blood, and bled out? So you just on the ground bleeding until you don't have no blood no more? Destinii Hope, a 2-month-old baby, got shot and killed. In Palestine, 230,000 people have been killed. Mostly old people, women and children living in tent cities. They're living in unbearable oppression. They're living in misery already. They're living in a tent and then they get fucking bombed to death. And then they're incinerated. We bombed 2 twin babies. The father just had twin babies. He goes to get the birth certificate, comes back, the grandmother, the mother, and the baby's dead. 3 generations are dead. Here, 2 generations are dead. Dead and gone for good. This is Talisa, the grandmother again. Coombs. Why do all these people have different last names? She was an infant. She had a life. She didn't even know how to walk, talk, anything, and now she ain't going to be able to do any of that. Walk, talk, she's not going to find love, she's not going to get married, she's not going to get a career, she's not going to be able to vote, she's not going to be able to skip. And they said she was a happy baby. She was a happy baby. I've been around baby Destinii since she was born until now. I can't hold my granddaughter in my arms anymore and see her smile when I say, Grandma, you know, nothing can replace that. The bullet hit baby Destinii in the head. The cops didn't even negotiate with Maria, the mother. Felicia noted that Destinii would have been 3 months old on the 22nd. Who is Felicia? Felicia. A society that separates its warriors from its scholars will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. The body cam footage hasn't been released. So the ideal of our public officials is to be the warrior scholar or the scholar warrior, an intelligent and strong man or woman, not just one or the other. But who are the judges? Who are the mayors? Who are the legislators? A lot of times the legislators are these Ivy League, college-educated fucking cowards. The scholars are the cowards. So we got these court systems who are being educated by these weaklings run by... Hold on. So we have a court system that's supposed to check the police. The court system is supposed to sort it all out, get the guilty, free the innocent. But if you got a bunch of cowards that's in the three branches government, what you have is the police branch is wagging the three branches of government dog. The police branch tail is wagging the three branch government dog, which means it's backwards. There's no such thing as a police branch. But you got all these scholars, all these educated weaklings that are in the legislative chairs, that's in the executive branch, the governors, mayors, the president, and then you have, they're reliant on these tattooed bouncer types, these He-Man woman haters, to make the arrest. Because the governor's not going to make the arrest, the legislators aren't going to make the arrest, the damn judge isn't going to make the arrest, the prosecutors, the clerk, nobody is going to make the arrest unless the cop makes the arrest. He's got a license to kill. So, as long as you're doing something that's a part of your official duty, then the immunity thing applies. Immunity applies. So we want intelligent and strong men and women to be our officials. And so since the He-Man woman haters aren't college educated, they just get 6 weeks of training, a lot of them can't even tell you what the Bill of Rights are. Well, you're supposed to enforce the law, asshole. And that means don't just stop people from hurting one another, but you got to enforce our constitutional freedoms. That's in the preamble. We're supposed to be a free country. That means the law is we have a right to speak and a right to petition and a right to peacefully assemble. So these He-Man woman haters aren't college educated. They're not smart. They're not intelligent. And when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. You want me to go shoot him? I'll go shoot him. Is it a baby? Oh, I'll shoot that baby. No officers were hurt. No officers were hurt. I feel for the father. I like to think I would go fucking ape shit on that shit. It don't matter who the fuck would hurt my baby. Who would hurt my kids? But it's the police. And they seem to have unlimited powers. And then they act so fucking arrogant and cocky and so self-sure. I saw a cop in Colorado, a video of a cop shooting a guy for putting a pill in his mouth. There was Christian Glass, and then there was, oh man, what was his name? Say his name. Elijah McClain. So the liar police chief, Adam Dustman, he said the day after the incident, I do not know about injuries. Nothing that I'm aware of indicated specific injuries or the possibility of injuries. That will all be a part of the investigation. You're the police chief and you didn't even hear about any injuries? I didn't. Was there a shooting? I didn't hear about there being a shooting. It was on the fucking news. What? Somebody got injured? Well, none of our guys got injured. You didn't hear about any injuries at all? 2 people were fucking murdered. It wasn't just an injury. I know you all have lingering questions about who, what, when, where, why, and how. Well, yeah, we do. We have all those questions. Who done it? What did they do it with? When did they do it? Where did they do it? How are they standing? How many people was in that room? Why did they do it? How did they do it? She had a knife. You had guns. Did you have AK-47s? How many guns did you have? And I don't believe them. I don't believe them. I don't think she had a knife. I think that's just a fucking cover story so they can do damage control. I mean, it's already what? This happened on the 7th. So here it is. 2 weeks later. 7 minus 22. 15 days. So 2 weeks later in a day. And we don't even know what the fuck is going on. That'll be stuff that we don't have access to as they dig in. 3 police officers are on leave, so they get a paid vacation. That's nice. 1 officer fired his gun. Adam Dustman, and no, don't defund the police. No, don't police ourselves. How many rural communities have no cops whatsoever? How many people in rural areas have to police themselves? And if you're going to try to say that cops can be good or bad, they can be good or bad. So if they have nothing to fucking do, then it's a standing army just looking for fucking trouble. If they're in a big city with a lot of shit to do, then they won't sweat the petty things. And hopefully they don't pet the sweaty things. They won't sweat the petty things. Don't be Tom Petty. We know at least 1 officer fired the gun. Adam Dustman said that they did as their training had taught them to do. That's what you're teaching them, Adam Dustman? What you do, first of all, you come up to the scene and you kill the baby. You just pop the baby, just explode the baby's fucking head. That's what you do. That's what you're training them? Go in and shoot and murder the fucking baby? Jesus Christ. People that say they're pro-choice, they're protecting the life of the mother, right? People that's pro-life seem to be the least people that care about life. They don't care about plant life, animal life, and they don't care about human life. How could this fucking happen in America? You could have put that baby on trial and got them capital punishment. A lot of people who deserve capital punishment get life in prison. Even if you thought that that baby was guilty of fucking something, the most that they could get is life in prison. They're not going to get fucking executed. Murdered? Did you try to talk them down? Or were you just yelling at them like a bunch of fucking assholes ready to shoot your fucking gun? You were ordering them what to do, and they did not comply, right? You had that judge that was fucking killed. You had that cop that was killed. Well, they didn't comply, right? If they don't comply, if they don't just follow a lawful order, well, shit, you get to kill the baby. Any fucking excuse will serve a tyrant. Why'd you murder that baby? Who gives a shit, right? No wonder so many public officials were Epsteiners. If you don't even give a shit for a baby's life, then you can do unspeakable horrors. R.I.P. to Maria Pike. R.I.P. to Destinii Hope. R.I.P. to Justin Robinson. R.I.P. to Marcellus Williams. The other 2 things I want to mention is that cops work for the executive branch. All 3 branches of government should be concerned with public safety. That's the legislators, that's the judicial branch, and that's the executive branch. However, it looks like when it comes to the cops, who runs the cops? Well, the judicial branch, right? The judge tells them what to do. Well, no, technically speaking, the judge has no sword and it's got no purse. All the judge has is judgment. Read the Federalist Papers, read Montesquieu. And so since the cops are the executive branch, because the executive branch executes the laws, that means these cops work for the mayor, they work for the government, the governor, and they work for the president. They work for the leader of that community. So, yeah, you got a sheriff, you got a police chief, but ultimately, they work for the mayor. All 3 branches of government should be concerned about public safety. The executive branch can do so much more, but because they're a bunch of nerds, and they're dependent on the tattooed bouncer types, well, they know how to use their purse strings, but the executive rarely will do the arresting themselves. You're the executive. You can enforce the law by arresting people. They'll point and they'll get other people to arrest the people that they point to, right? They'll finger somebody, arrest that man. And then they'll get somebody else to do the job with them. How many raids, how many goddamn fucking operations goes in without any public officials whatsoever? Legislators, they're in a different position, but the judge, the prosecutors, the legislators, you have the governors, you got all these goddamn politicians. The 3 branches of government is the dog who's being wagged by the police branch tail. The executive branch's responsibility isn't just to sign the law, but to execute it. That's why they're called the executive branch, to execute the law, to put the law into practice. So maybe the governor should actually go in with the cops to arrest a criminal. Maybe the mayor or the president need to do the arrests themselves. Arrest the bad guys, arrest the criminals, arrest the bad cops. This matters greatly, because when it comes to immunity, many times judges will give themselves immunity. And they'll give the executive branch and the legislators. All the three branches get immunity. But the cops and other lesser officials, like hospital officials, school officials, state officers, public defenders, local governments, county sheriffs, private prison guards, these people only get qualified immunity. They just get qualified immunity, and that's all that they get. Qualified immunity means conditional immunity. Sometimes they're immune. Oh, he just shot a baby. That's what they were trained to do. Ah, get out of here, you baby killing pile of shit. Get out of here. You don't get life in prison. We're not going to even put charges on you. Maybe we'll present it to the grand jury so the prosecutor can bury it with the grand jury. If a cop is going to get arrested or get charges, well, they'll definitely need to get a grand jury indictment, right? We won't give a shit about Marcellus Williams and all his due process violations, but for a police officer, they'll actually get the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure will apply to them. So qualified immunity means that the cops can be held to account for their crimes. But the head of the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, they all hide behind total and absolute immunity. This specifically is for federal 42 U.S. 1983 cases. So that means the estate of Maria Pike, technically speaking, and Destinii Hope, the estate of these two, the mother and the daughter who got shot and killed, they can sue the police through the federal courts. That's presuming that a lawyer will take up the case, which they may not if they don't get any money, if they're not willing to do so. They'll charge $1,400 an hour, right, for the case. Then they'll say they know it all, and then they won't do an investigation. Then they'll fuck the case up. If the estate of Maria Pike and Destinii Hope don't have money for a good lawyer, and without a lawyer who would be willing to do pro bono work, you'll need somebody who will do it on the cheap or for free, and somebody who's willing to do it. The lawyers are technically officers of the court. An aspiring lawyer, if you're a good lawyer, if you're a lawyer with a conscience, if you're a lawyer who makes millions of fucking dollars, you can pick this case up and it'll give you much needed publicity and advertisement. So people will hear your law fucking firm's name. An aspiring lawyer should pick up this case. Anybody, if you're a lawyer, you should be one to pick this case up. But lawyers are cowards too. They're educated, they're a bunch of scholars, so they're a bunch of fucking weaklings, a bunch of weak nerds. But I guarantee you that they would win the settlement. They would win the case itself, if not a settlement. This is wrongful death. Maybe you could say Maria had a knife or not. I don't think she had a knife. Was she in the closet holding her hostage? Did she try to suffocate the baby? Did she walk out in the woods? Did they have mental health episodes? Were they, two poor white trash people in apartments that nobody gives a fuck about? Did they have domestic issues? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I know what the cops are not supposed to do is just show up onto the scene. Shut up, woman. No, I'm not going to shut up. Bang, bang, I just killed your baby. You're going to shut up now, aren't you? They're going to shoot the baby in the head and the woman in the hip. So I know an aspiring lawyer would win the case. They would win the case, which means they got $1 million settlement. And if you're a rich fucking lawyer in a law firm, you can pick up the case, get the publicity, get the experience, and do something good for your community for once in your goddamn lives. Lawyers, you can tell when they're lying, when they're moving their lips. What do you call 10,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Fucking lawyers are parasites, man. So the estate of Maria Pike and Destinii Hope should get paid if we live in a fair and just society.